Welcome, Schuco and Tin Toy fans. Kind of a special edition today. We're going to be talking about the first car that Schuco ever made. In 1935, it came out with a patent motor car. And here's my example. This is a very special example. I'll get into the history of this particular car in a little while. But this is the first car that Schuco ever came up with. Obviously, well before the Second World War. And on the bottom you'll see in a minute it says just made in Germany. This car was made for the English market, for the British market. And here's an example of just the body that I found, I think, on eBay. Somebody must have taken one apart and couldn't put it back together again, and I bought the body. And then we're going to talk about a book that I think was mostly produced by the modern Schuco company. It's called the Schuco Saga, 100 Years of Schuco Replete with Marvels, by Andreas A. Burse. So let's get into this car. So this is the patent motor car, again, the first car that Schuco ever made. Now this particular example came to me through eBay, through the British eBay. This particular car was owned by a young boy in Great Britain, in England. And he took this car with him when he was evacuated from London to the country. When the Blitz came and they were bombing London, they took a lot of the children out of London and took them up to the North Country, and he took this car with him, according to his family. And the car is still in very good shape. I think the young boy painted the car because it has been painted, but it still works, and you'll see that in a little while. Now this next example is just the body. And I've taken some close-up pictures of it so you can see what it looks like. There's the underside of the car. And let's try this car out, although it makes me very nervous to wind it up. I don't want to break the spring or cause it any harm, but so I only wind it a little bit. See, you can see like 3 or 4 turns, pull the key out, hold my breath, put it on the table. And there she goes, and it turns back. That's exactly what it should do. It turns back off the edge of the table. Whew, that was a close one. Well, let's try it one more time. I don't want it to fall off the edge of the table either, and that just might happen with this little car. So only a couple of turns here. The car would go much further if I had the nerve to wind it all the way up, but I don't. So let's try it again. Hold my hands off the edge of the table. Oh, there it goes. See, it didn't quite work. It's a pretty old car, but it is turning off the edge of the table, and it's run out of juice because I didn't really wind it that much. And now let's talk about the book that I talked about earlier, the Schuco Saga, 100 Years of Schuco Replete with Marvels, by Andreas A. Burse from 2012. So this is about the 100th anniversary of Schuco. And this talks about the history of Schuco and how it's come to the present day. And the history of Schuco wouldn't be complete without talking about Heinrich Müller. And there's a picture of him in the early days when he started the company. He started the company after working for a company called Bing, who makes a lot of toys. Here's another page, and notice there's a pick bird. They sold more than 20 million of those when Schuco first started. Anyway, Heinrich Müller and Mr. Schreyer started a company, and it was called Schreyer and Company, and eventually it was reduced from Schreyer and Company to Schuco. There's another picture of Heinrich Müller, and that's how the toys were made in the old days. And today, although Schuco went out of business really in 1976, it was bought by a series of different companies, and now the toys are made in various places, including Hungary and China. So this is a nice book. It's not a complete catalog by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good history of Schuco from the earliest days to the present day. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching the Tin Meister. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much, and good night.